Okay, here we have this project finally finished. I've been working on this for a couple of weeks. This is a very early Victorinox Inox dive watch. Now, I found this locally, and as I did research, I had never seen this model before, and I've had several Swiss Army watches. But what made me dig into this watch is, see, if you notice, it's I'll get the hands out of the way. If you notice, it's branded Victorinox. And all the other Victorinox watches I see there are branded Swiss Army. So I started doing some research, and Victorinox branded their watches Swiss Army starting in 1996. So that means that this watch is pre-1996. Now, they didn't start making watches until 1989. So you've got 6 years there where somewhere in there this watch was produced. Now, I didn't know that it was called an Inox, but on the I had the original strap up in my watch box, but this is the buckle that came off of the original strap. And I took, as I was disassembling that, excuse me, I've got to sneeze. Ugh. As I was disassembling that strap, you just can, oh, whoops, where's the, there you go. See how it says Inox in there? I was disassembling that strap to put it on this black rubber strap that I had. This came off of a different watch, not a Victorinox, but anyway. So, and I noticed, because there's no reference number or anything on this watch, and I know sometimes they put them on. I've heard of watch companies putting reference numbers or model names on the bands or on the bracelet or somewhere hidden, but I couldn't find it anywhere on this watch. And finally, as I was disassembling it, I see this little engraving of Inox. Now, Victorinox makes an Inox currently. It's much different than this. It is a dive watch, but it's big. I think it's 44 millimeters or something like that. They make a quartz version and an automatic version. A good looking watch, but far too big for my taste. So that tells me this is a very early version of a Victorinox Inox dive watch. Now, I've looked all over the internet, all over eBay, and I can't find another old Inox like this. Not even one that's branded as Swiss Army. I posted it on a Facebook group, and I saw somebody had, whoops, sorry about that. Somebody had one of these branded as Swiss Army. But this being branded as Victorinox tells me it's 1995 or older. So a pretty rare little piece, this, and it's pretty astonishing. Now, we will, the bezel, it's a 60-click bezel. In its action, it's actually synthetic. I had a Victorinox field watch. Whoops. That the case was that material. You can see it lines up nicely. Now, what's most impressive about these Swiss Army watches is, see the seconds hand ticking? See how perfectly the seconds hand matches up with the minute marks on the dial. That's difficult to do. That is rare for quartz watches. Here's an example. This is a it's actually a Miyota movement, and you can see that it's just all, every tick is off. and the further around the dial, the more off it gets. This is a iota movement in the back of that. So you can definitely tell that the Swiss quartz movement is just far more, what's the word? I guess, I don't know if accurate's the word, but the attention to detail is there. Okay, let's get some dimensions out of the way. Whoops. And of course my caliper is in the bottom of my bag. Okay, dimensions. .37 millimeters, 37 millimeter case. Lug. See the lugs are shaped kind of funny. Lug to lug, looking at 42.5. Thickness, this is what's most attractive about these little pieces, these little Swiss Armies. Look at that, less than 10 millimeters thick. You got a lug size of 20 millimeters. That's a Barton strap. Okay, let's look at the dimension, or excuse me, the date change of this movement. Now I'm pretty sure it's at PM now. I don't know that I've done this before on this watch. So we'll see. We'll start slowing down when we get to 11. See if we can notice a date, any movement. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, all right, so we've got movement just after 11 o'clock. Still scrolling, still scrolling, still scrolling. Okay, and the click at about 3.5 minutes till. So, that's not bad at all, especially considering this watch is, if it was made in 95, the newest possible, if it was made in 95, 2005, 2015, 20-something years old. 24 years old if it was made in 95. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Okay, and I have noticed that this watch, see the hands are loomed. Now I had a Victorinox a Victorinox Swiss Army field watch, and it had tiny little loom dots around the dial. See, still glowing pretty nicely. I'm not sure how long it'll last. I'm sure the loom has worn. Yeah, very cool little piece. Okay, now I've got some strap options for this guy. And I'm not going to change the straps because that takes a long time, but I'll sort of lay them in place so you can see. I also have that black strap. This watch is for sale. All right, if the watch doesn't sell, then I'm happy to keep it. I think it's a sweet little piece. But I try to sort of keep my inventory. I'm going to take my, by the way, now I'm wearing my ProMaster. And that's a good example. See, it's seconds hand. It's lining up pretty good, actually. It will go off as it moves around. See, it's starting to get off now. Or is it? Yeah, it doesn't stay, most of them don't stay lined up all the way around the dial. So this watch is for sale. a lot of the stuff that I buy, the only stuff that I have that's not for sale is the stuff that's sort of sentimental, the stuff that I buy on vacation, stuff that I buy on trips, watches that are gifts are not for sale. But anything that as I move around town at work and such, the stuff that I buy kind of spur of the moment, I try to post it for sale and keep it moving. And this is definitely one of those. So I'm put it on my wrist. Whoops, bumped the camera. So my wrist is 6 3/4, I think. I think that red Barton band really sets it off. Okay, so this watch is I've got it listed for $90. That price is negotiable. I'm willing to make a deal on the watch. There's the original straps. I'm willing to make a deal on the watch. I'm not going to break even on it. I would rather keep it than break even on it. So it is negotiable, but it ain't very negotiable. Don't think that you can steal it. It's a quality little piece. But if you haven't looked into Swiss Army watches, you definitely should. I know the original Swiss Army field watch, you can find them on eBay really cheap, like $50 or lower. They made a million of them. They're all over the place. They're really good quality. They're bulletproof. That Swiss quartz movement will never stop. Yeah, if this is I wouldn't beat this watch up because it's pretty rare. I'm sure there are guys that are collecting Victorinox stuff. And basically, I looked on a website that that listed all of the Victorinox models ever made, and they had a picture of this watch existing, but they didn't have any information on it. So this thing is pretty stinking rare. Like I say, if the watch doesn't sell, I'm happy to keep it. I love this little guy, but I try to keep my my collection rotating because I'm always buying stuff, and I'm always here tinkering and fixing watches and building watches and all that sort of stuff. So I try to keep things rotating. And I don't know, I haven't ever put any of my watches for sale on YouTube. But this one was too cool not to do a little review on. So I haven't polished it. You'll see if I can get the light just right. You can see there's some scratches on the mineral crystal. Sandy. Cat just hanging from the vines. I meant the blinds. I could polish it. I have the polishing wheel in my shop. But a lot of people are real funny about watches being polished. So this, I have not polished anything, and you can see it's brushed. The case is brushed all the way around. Yeah, if you I'll leave my email address in the description. So if you're interested, give me a shout. Maybe you want to trade watches. I'm open-minded to stuff like that. Yeah, there it is. You may not ever see one of those again.